Hi, everyone, and welcome to World Unity Week 2022. It is June the 19th, and this is the first day that all convergence rooms are now open, and you are watching a presentation in the Co-Creators Global Village and the Convergence Room of Humanity as Organism Thrives. Welcome. I am very privileged to introduce our presenter, whom I have known for a few years, and to tell you a bit about her, Santa Molina Marshall. Her presentation is called Earth Healing, Self-Healing, Mastering Regulation. Her organization, her business is called Holistic Psychotherapy by Santa. She's an author, a national and international speaker, licensed clinical holistic psychotherapist, and certified somatic experiencing practitioner. She has been in the field of trauma and sexual violence since 1990. In April 2014, she was awarded the National Sexual Violence Resource Center 2014 Visionary Voice Award for her outstanding work in the field of anti-sexual violence within her community. She has done so many amazing things. Presently, she manages her private practice in Washington, D.C., and is a national and international speaker on women, trauma, mindfulness, grief, and loss, compassionate fatigue, neurobiology of trauma, and other topics. She's also a licensed clinical social worker. Ms. Molina Marshall obtained licensing and certification as a massage therapist, integral yoga teacher, Reiki master, and was ordained as an interfaith minister at the New Seminary in New York City, 2004. She's been providing services to the community for the last 26 years. She's developed a holistic approach to addressing the needs of survivors of trauma that encompass addressing the body, the mind, and the spirit. And she is the published author of Running Through Darkness, Memoir of a Spiritual Warrior. Welcome, Santa.
Thank you, Hasina. Thank you so very much. Thank you to everyone who's here with us today. And in some traditions, we are celebrating today fathers. So happy Father's Day. Whoever has fathered you, however we've been fathered, thank you for this day of recognition. I'm very honored and privileged to be here with you all today. So good day. And Hasina just showed us how quickly one can just come back from a place that could turn into a serious chaos to a place of grounding and centering, right? Very quickly, we're able to do that. So my hope today is to talk about how, in order for us to have a healed earth, we must remember that we are fully connected to the earth and all its living beings, animals, trees, oceans, and each other. And in order to have a world, a planet that serves us, that holds us, that feeds us, we must serve it, hold it, and feed it. Part of the challenge is that we are all affecting each other at all times. Part of the challenge is that we pick up the vibration, the energy, the frequencies of each other, which, again, I just want to keep stressing, I'm not just talking about human beings, but living beings. We are constantly interacting and affecting each other. And so it is our responsibility to remember that we can decide how we affect each other. And it begins with mindfulness. It begins with noticing. Just a moment ago, I was talking to Dr. Tam Ackland about our shadows. So we begin by looking at ourselves and others with compassion, with love, with respect. We look at our judgments, our prejudice. We look at ourselves first so that we are aligned and vibrating at very high frequency, hence affecting each other in a way that serves us, affecting each other in a way that serves us. Understanding that there's so much beauty around us. And yes, there is also the tragics that are happening, the tragedies that are taking place. And today here in Silver Spring, Maryland, it is a beautiful, clear day. The sky is blue. The leaves are moving on the trees. The sun is out. We have so much to be grateful for. And so I want to start my day today, as it is 11 o'clock in the morning or 11:15. In my space, I want to start the day just by asking you to take a moment to notice your surroundings, take a moment to notice your physical, immediate surrounding, and then see if you can tune into what's happening outside of your physical surroundings. So I invite you to just take a deep breath. Look around a little bit and notice what you notice. Notice what's there for you. Yeah. And then in the spirit of reporting out, I invite you to feel okay about unmuting yourself and just sharing quickly. What do you notice? What feeds your spirit in this moment? What feeds your soul? What calms your nervous system? Just notice and share with us. What do you see? What do you hear? I hear birds chirping. Ah, yes. Tom, what do you hear, experience out there? I think we have the same weather, huh?
We have the same weather, and my birds apparently are making noises that you can hear 50 miles away. Not too shabby.
Yes, yes. What are you noticing?
I'm noticing the interfaces, and if I could share with you what came up yesterday in one of the plenary sessions, when we were asked to say a prayer to the elders. What came up for me was that I was summoning the shepherding of the firstborn, the not yet named firstborn progeny of Mother Earth, Mother Cloud and Father Water, or Father Padre Cloud and Mother Water. And there was a third being, a third entity that showed up. And it was sort of that thing that lets clouds be clouds, and it lets clouds return themselves to water. So it was that. And I presenced that prayer for the elders in the Paw Paw River Valley in West Virginia, which is really just upstream from where I am on the Monocacy River here in Frederick. So I think they made their way down in 24 hours. They seem to have made their way down here, and they're on the way to you. So keep your eyes on the Potomac.
I will, absolutely. Yes. Anyone else that wants to share real quick what they notice in this moment that seems to be aligning with their higher frequencies?
I notice a breeze turning to a wind, but it's definitely something that I can feel. And it's something that I haven't felt this afternoon being so busy. But right now, I can be in the moment.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So noticing our surroundings and deciding to focus on the higher frequencies, the things that feed us, the thing that connects with our true being, our only being, which is a being of light, a being of love, a being of nature and connectiveness. Yeah. Unfortunately, not many of us, or enough of us, maybe I should say, are able to quiet down enough to connect with what feeds us, what allows us to tap into that inner being that is pure energy, wisdom, and love. It requires, of course, we all know this, to quiet down, to take just a moment, to notice what is around you, to start off from a place of being supported. And we have so much support around us if we just stop and notice. Again, our relationship with Mother, Pachamama, Mother Earth, that says, yes, I'm here and I'm holding you despite all that you human beings are doing to me and to the rest of our cohabitants. And so we take a minute right now to say, I am sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry. I love you, Mother. I love you, sister, brother, sibling. I love you. To see if it's in your heart to say, I'm sorry, I love you. Yes. And to begin to notice your breath. Something else all living beings do and have access to is breathing. Notice how your chest and belly expand and contract with each breath. Just let it be, remembering that breath is life, life energy. And so we take in as much of that life energy as possible and we release it back gently into the earth. Sharing, exchanging that energy with everyone. One of the reasons why we have so many shadows that affect us being able to notice the sun at times is because we are activated. And when I say activated, our nervous system is reacting to the vibration that says, oh, something's not right. Our nervous system is responding to, oh, there's a sense of threat. Triggers are everywhere. The focus in my world of psychotherapy and particularly holistic psychotherapy is to notice when your body picks up that something's not right, something's not quite in sync. And immediately give yourself an opportunity through a breath to assess, is that real? Am I really being threatened in this moment? Is it perceived? Is it remembered? Is it imagined? If I can identify in the moment that I feel the trigger being that which makes me feel outside of my divine self, then I must ask myself, is it here now? Is it today? Honoring that whatever we are triggered by or experienced, that we are in our truth. However, it may not be the truth. We are in our truth. Yes, I'm experiencing a trigger. I'm experiencing a disequilibrium. I am experiencing fear, shame, or some darkness. And that is real, but it's only real to Santa. So I must ask, is it real to the rest of the universe and in this moment? If it is, trust that your nervous system will do as it needs, fight, flee, freeze, or fawn, to bring you back to a place where you feel safer. If it is not real of today, your nervous system is still going to do that same thing. And you're going to watch how your nervous system interacts in that moment with the rest of the universe. You're going to return to a place, once again, where you begin to orient to your individual spaces. Orienting through your eyes. We often have the tendency of grounding or coming to a place when we're trying to become internal and notice what's happening inside. And that's a wonderful practice of grounding. But the practice of seeking regulation, seeking a sense of safety and comfort is best sought by us noticing what's outside of us. It is through our ventral vagal nerve that we connect with the world. The ventral vagal is responsible for healthy attachment. And so we focus our eyes, we look out into our space, no matter how familiar we are, and we allow the ventral vagal nerve to do its work and to say, oh, I belong. I'm connected, I'm attached, I'm a bit safer. So a nervous system who was vibrating at a frequency that becomes dysregulated now begins to say, oh, I am safer. I am safer. And then guess what? It's not enough to say, because I've connected through my eyes, I am safer. Let me come back to tracking in my body. How do I know I'm safer? Is my breath coming back to regulation? Am I feeling focused? Am I participating with the energies around me? Am I noticing that I'm not alone? Those are all things to be aware of, because that is indeed what begins to de-escalate this thing, which is a very dysregulated nervous system. And we keep doing that thing of noticing whatever you notice, however your nervous system is being impacted, and choosing, if you are indeed safe in this moment, to bring in what I call resources, to bring in energy that supports your stabilization, your well-being. Now I can look at my shadows and I can welcome them as aspects of me that are working really hard to create regulation. Yeah. Those shadows, those things that are disconnected from our highest being of high vibration, are attempting to assist us as gaining that. But while we are in this state of dysregulation, it's hard to not feel judged, questioned, attacked. And so we respond to the invitation to look at our shadow self, sometimes with defensiveness. That is different, and it's a different experience when we come from a place of understanding and compassion. for ourselves and for others. And so we're able to begin to notice, what do I need so that I can come back to myself? I call them resources. You may call them tools. And those resources are about sensing what supports you, what helps your nervous system to come back to a place of regulation. Is it a sensation? I work with the beings of crystals, and I'll show you some. This is my rose quartz. And this is a resource for a lot of different reasons, but particularly because it's cool. And the sensation of temperature will affect your nervous system. For me, it's coolness. For someone else, maybe something warm, or something in this quartz crystal, something with a tip that I can touch. Yeah, so sensory. It could be a soft feather that I'm using today to find some softness, some lightness. Huh? So sensory. Imagery. We are born with an unlimited ability to imagine whatever we want. So why not imagine yourself safe, happy at the top of a mountain? Why not imagine yourself being held by Mother Earth? Why not imagine yourself in the place where you've been the happiest, the safest? Or maybe imagine yourself with wings, being able to fly really high like eagles. Sensations. Imagination. Behavior. Yeah, we look at our behaviors. What are the things we're doing and how does it impact us? Do you like walking, running, doing yoga, dancing, drumming? What is it for you that brings you back to your highest self? Let's notice our behavior and our interactions with each other. Yeah. And then there's memory. Remembering times when you have been well. So it is through these resources that we can go from this to this. Right? Our nervous system is supposed to react with fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. It's supposed to work towards achieving regulation, and it does. Except for, unfortunately, there are so many different impacts that if we're not constantly aware of what we're experiencing in our body, then you don't notice when you're being triggered. You don't know whether it's today or that was 20 years ago, a trigger that's coming from some time in the past. You don't know how to access danger. You just respond to what seems like it's dangerous. Yeah. So again, the encouragement is for us to be mindful in our bodies long enough to be able to notice. Do we need to introduce a resource? And if so, to do so, and then to take time to notice how it's impacted you, how your body, nervous system is responding to it. And you continue to do that, not just once or twice, and certainly not when you are in immediate danger, but throughout. As individuals on this earth, we are triggered. We are exchanging our energy. And so it is our responsibility, particularly those of us who sit in these places where we get to influence others with information as well, to ask ourselves, am I walking my talk? Am I checking in with how I'm being impacted? Am I doing everything I can to be resourced? Am I eating well, drinking plenty, which, by the way, reminds me, I'm a little thirsty. Life-giving water. Are we resting? Yes, yes. Anybody else who has a glass of water, let's salute to life-giving water. How are we? We have a responsibility so that when we come to interface with living things, that we're ready. We're ready to say, I can share with you an energy of love, an energy of compassion, an energy of gratitude. I can share that with you. I am ready to be in this relationship with you. Yeah. And that is world peace. That is us interacting at the highest vibration we can. That is indeed the interface. That is when we are truly maximizing our potential. Going through this cycle of regulating yourself and checking in, so orienting, checking in, orienting again to see what impact your resource has had on you, allows us to manage our interactions when things are really difficult. It allows us to manage those interactions in a way where we're not adding dysregulation, but instead encouraging regulation. When I take a breath, we're all invited to take a breath. When you approach individuals from a place of, I see your greatness, even though your vibration right now may be a bit low, circumstantially, whatever it is in your life that continues to take from you. When I approach an individual and say, I see you and I see your greatness and I see your potential and I lend you my hope, I hold hope for you that you too will return to your wholeness. Then we are honoring our Mother Earth and all its cohabitants. Then I offer you space to feel more present, more regulated, more centered. We are committing. We here on this call at this moment, in our practices and in all the work we do, we are committing ourselves to doing our own personal work. Again, that word shadow comes up again. Yeah. And welcoming that from a place of compassion, that is that shadow, understanding where it was born, and understanding how it's been working towards assisting you. It doesn't want to harm you. It just wants to help. Let's allow our shadow self to come forth, knowing that it is received in a compassionate and loving way. Let's replace that with self-regulation. Let's replace that with our responsibility to constantly have engagement, to see the potential in others, to walk gentle on the earth, and to interact from that place of love, of care, and of responsibility the responsibility to check in with yourself, to stay well, and to say to others, there is a way that we can begin to learn how to self-regulate. Notice your body. Notice what impacts it. Give it love. Give it what it needs. Give it resources. Give resources to others. Take time. So right now, just take time. Once again, I invite you to take a nice deep breath. And although a lot of our talk today has been about me working on staying regulated to communicate, grounding, peace, acceptance of all of you, I ask you in this moment if you would join me at an adventure. I'm going to ask you, and only do this if it feels right to you, to take a moment, eyes open or closed, gaze within yourself. Just a moment to think of a time when you felt dysregulated. Do not pick the greatest, most severest dysregulation, but pick one average moment of dysregulation. Yeah, breathe into your body and notice that, and notice how it affects the rest of your body. Begin to notice the breath, the tension, the awareness. This is not life-threatening, but it's a threat. And nonetheless, your body responds. Notice if it's triggering anything else. It's reminding you of anything else. And again, you're just noticing your body. Notice if what you're experiencing is real, or is it perceived? Are you imagining, remembering the danger, the threat? Is it in the past, the future, the present? Ask yourself. Know that that experience is real, even if it's only real for you. It is real, and so we honor it. We understand it. And we ask ourselves again, am I in danger now? And if the answer is no, right at this moment, I am safe. Allow yourself to invite a resource. Is it a memory? Is it something you imagine? Is it something you touch? Something you eat? Something you do? Just be with that in this moment. Find at least one or two things that you can bring your focus and attention to, and begin to breathe, holding that intention, that experience. Notice how it changes and or affects what you notice in your body. Breathing. We go back, check in again with our initial concern. We notice how our body's responding. You notice whether or not there's a need for an additional resource. Every time you're invited to go through this cycle, notice how you're going in and out of the experience that brings up a sense of threat. De-escalating and regulating as you realize in a more embodied way that you are safe in this moment. You are safe in this moment. And so with your next big breath, just begin once again to orient yourself to the space around you. And notice that all indeed is well. You're familiar with your surrounding, and you are present, and you are safe. And so again, I want to invite you to share what your resource was. If you can just share what your resource was, then you will be resourcing or offering resourcing to us. So let's offer that gift. Does anyone feel called to?
Yes, my resource was breathing. It's just using the breath and being more than an observer, just being in the moment with the breath.
Beautiful. And were you able to see a shift from being, maybe not that, right? Because I said, don't pick a big one, but maybe, right? Did you notice a difference in your sense of inner regulation?
Yes, I didn't pick a big one. I picked that Facebook streaming debacle just now. And so it was easy to just be with the breath and just calm myself down.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Anyone else wants to share their resource?
If I may, yeah. Well, I think that your presence and your tone has been very resourceful over this last half hour or so. The previous hour, we're supposed to have a presentation about presence, which didn't happen because the person had an emergency, so she couldn't make it. But we were sorting out some technicalities about Zooming and all that. So normally we would have been a bit flustered at this point, but I've been feeling incredibly peaceful. And your presentation, I say, both in terms of what you've been saying, but also the tone, the delivery has been very soothing and peaceful. So I thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your share. Anyone else? What did you do to come to a place where you offered yourself a resource? So let us be mindful, that because of this constant interconnection, we have a responsibility, and we, particularly people who are aware of how we impact each other, have a responsibility to the rest of us and to our earth to stay present enough, yeah, so that we can be agents or earth healing, earth change. As we regulate ourselves, we regulate the earth. I see someone on. Don't know if you want to share something. Tom?
Sure, thank you. I echo what Tex pointed to, and thank you for your energies and your beautiful soothing. It's a healing just in and of itself. I was surprised. I have a very strong heart, cardiovascular system, and I had a little episode last week of very strange tachycardia. And so I presenced that, and as Hasina mentioned, something physical. I also I get a lot of comfort when I'm hanging upside down. I have a pull-up bar that I hang upside down, and so I found myself, as you were guiding us through, on the pull-up bar, but active and stretching backwards. And my brain said, dude, you're not supposed to exert yourself if you want your heart to relax, but it was very interesting. It was a paradoxical thing, because I found myself in my mind's eye working hard. But that's what the episode asked for, I think. Really calming.
Wonderful. So you have all been able to share how resources are everywhere. So you don't have time to go and hang upside down. But you can remember the last time you were hanging, right? Or you can remember the last time you used your breath to bring you back, right? So we have access to that all the time. I want the world to know that we were made in the highest vibration, and that we have access to that. We must remove the debris, our judgment, our shadows, our prejudice, so that we can return to that. In my book, Running Through Darkness, like you just heard, I'm a newly published author. Running Through Darkness, a memoir of a spiritual warrior, I share my story of how I went from trauma and continue to move towards triumph. Because I've looked at my shadows, which is what this book really shares. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse and other forms of trauma. And throughout the years, I've had to look at that and notice how it had impacted me, and decide to go into those shadows and find ways to bring self-regulation. And now I'd like to offer it to the rest of us. Yeah. There's a little workbook in the back of this book as well that just helps us go through this process. And so I thank you all. I truly, truly thank you, all of you that are here witnessing the experience of all of these incredible workshops throughout this week. I invite you to dive in, give yourself the time to participate. And I open us up to any questions or concerns or anything additional that you would like to share. I am leaving these last few minutes for us to do that, and or to transition, whatever needs to be next. I thank you. I see you, those of you that are allowing yourselves to be seen. I love you. And I am so grateful for the work that you are all doing. May we all regulate and dance in a beautiful way, supporting our earth, the ancestors that walk on it, and ourselves. Aho. Be well. I turn it over to you guys.
Oh,
Ah, thank you, Santa. That was absolutely beautiful. And it was such a wonderful note to start with. Like Tex said, it was so calming. And so thank you for that gift of just giving us that. If anyone has questions or really unmute, feel free to have a conversation. We will move to the next presentation at noon Eastern time, but please feel free to have a conversation. Sandra's here.
We are all one, yes.
Kathy.
Kathy.
Sandra, I would love to hear more about shadow work because I feel that is what's coming up for all of us right now, whether we like it or not, whether we embrace it or not. So could you speak some more about the shadow work you see and techniques?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a great question. And what are we doing about our shadow work? Well, I mentioned just briefly that the first thing to do is to recognize that the shadow is what has been created or what developed as a result of us trying to, as a result of our body, spirit, mind, trying to return us to regulation. Shadow is not the devil. Shadow is not, you're an evil person and you haven't healed. As a matter of fact, in my book, I talk about all of the shadows that I encountered. And we must do that and do that with love and compassion, right? So the first thing is understanding that and being able to offer to whoever we're serving the opportunity to invite their shadow as a way of understanding where you've been and how desperately your body, mind, spirit collective has worked towards creating a way of keeping you safe. So that's the first thing, demystifying the shadow work as this horrible thing that we have to hide, especially if we are in the we are light beings field. Then we can't have shadows. People are watching for those, right? So being able to demystify that. No, you do have shadows and they're there for a reason. And they're not going to leave until you give it a new assignment. So I don't know if that is what you if that's what you believe about shadows.
I believe the triggers have hidden gifts, but when they come, too many come at one time, it can be devastating. And I think this time period with the energies that are coming from the great central sun into our solar system are causing so much illumination of all of society's shadow as well as our own and our part in it. So that's why I asked if you had a sweet way to deal with it, because it's somewhat overwhelming.
Yes, and my sweet way is to say, welcome. Thank you for working so hard for me to keep me safe.
Beautiful.
And today I'm going to do what I need to do to stay calm, to stay regulated, to use these resources, to be more embodied. Yeah, so that you, shadow, can rest. And I don't know what that does to you, but to me, I just felt it. And my eyes welled up and my body just got full of little pricklies. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, shadow work can exist in the presence of the light. It is the light. It is the light wanting to come through. So again, thank you. That's a beautiful question. Thank you. Just a few minutes to transition, huh?
Yep. Thank you, Santa.
Thank you, Hasina. Thank you for creating such a space.